Alright, in the game, let's get scanning.
High levels of water found.
Obviously looking for the standard stuff. The map looks a bit more forgiving
That will be useful.
than usual this time, so we're going to do some serious poking around before we commit anywhere. A lot of water everywhere, but obviously water doesn't win the game on its own. That's very tempting to throw down on, even without having spotted aluminum. Okay, nope, somebody else did it first. Would have been fine, because we spotted the aluminum, but we were just a hair too late. Still not really a big fan of the found these days. That player's going to be off to a nice, really strong start, purely because he got a little bit lucky. And we're going to have to see if we can catch up before long. Where we just haven't found anywhere else that we can actually found yet, unfortunately. Nowhere that's actually viable. This scavenger player is going to try and cause this guy some problems. We'll see how that goes. We're just going to poke up in this corner now. See if we can find some iron that's actually usable and get founded this game. Shoot, guys. High levels of iron. Where? Oh, of course there's like iron scattered about here that's not actually good. Well, I tell you what we can try. We can try something silly this game, where we'll found here
location has been identified
and go iron, iron, and then like
High levels of silicon found.
we could put a steel mill down. We could grab an aluminum mine. We may as well go with the aluminum mine right over there. Sell some carbon, because that came up in price from these scavengers all putting down their quarries. Just sell some silicon and buy up steel. That's enough steel to upgrade. Hopefully we'll be able to push to everything else we need before too long. Obviously we're off to a pretty bad start and we went robotic. So we'll be just trying to make this work as best as we can, but there's really no guarantee that's going to happen. Yeah, we can bid on that a little bit.
3,000.
Keep going.
5,000. 6,000.
Not much to talk about right now while we wait. We just got to be patient.
7,000.
I wish this was one more tile over to the right. That would have been perfect.
12,000.
Yep, keep going.
14,000. 16,000.
Now, do we push it to the 18 or do we wait? 20,000. There we go.
20,000.
We can pay 20,000 for a claim sometimes, and it's alright. Generally, you don't want to go to 24, but 20 you can pretty frequently make work, so that's just what we're trying to do this time. Now, the question is, do I want to secure a little more aluminum? Probably not. I've probably got enough to be okay, so we're just going to toss down a little steel mill. See if we can work with this in our little corner here. Obviously, we're far away from silicon. A lot of the close carbon is getting taken, but there's plenty of carbon left on the map, so we're hoping that's not going to be an issue. Water should be fine. There's a nice little water tile right here that we can make use of. That we're going to be trying to make use of, at least, at some point. We can't really afford a claim right now, because we need to push for the upgrade instead. Hopefully we'll be able to take that claim before long. And then I think we were just going to grab one of these valuable water tiles. Probably this one. Water's generally okay. It's nice to have a little bit. It's generally okay. But a lot of people already went into water this game. So while it would be nice to secure some water for long term, it's not absolutely necessary. This guy's already in a massive amount of silicon, which makes it really awkward trying to figure out what market to move into. One option is just steel. Bradbury's not making steel of his own. So we could just commit super hard into our steel, try and get to a goon squad to protect it pretty early. We'll go for a claim first, but a goon squad after that, quite likely. And just see what we can do. We'll just grab this little geo. It's pretty valuable. Might be a little while before we use it, but at least we've got it secured just in case. See, and this is why I didn't go for more aluminum, because aluminum's down at $9. And it's like, yeah, I could secure it, guarantee those future upgrades, it'd be nice, but it's not absolutely necessary. So, we're just going to see how this goes instead. Hopefully it'll work out. I know, Yezo, I'm sorry, like, Twitch was being awful yesterday, is why I didn't do the Thursday stream, or sorry, the Wednesday stream. And then I'm streaming this morning in part to try and make up for that fact, right? It's early, but it's when I had the time, so I figured I'd just go with it.
Scientific colony expanded.
Now, I could throw down this, but I really need a goon squad both here and here, so I'm not throwing down the geotherm just yet because I don't want it to get mutinied while I'm not paying attention. We'll grab a goon squad. There we go. Yeah, we can upgrade. That's fine.
Beginning construction.
Maybe even grab another geotherm. Superconductor. That'd be really nice, actually. Superconductor would be pretty darn cool. So we're going to head for superconductor, 100% power production connected to HQ. Obviously quite nice when we have a geotherm tile, which is a nice solid 2 power so close to our base. Hopefully we'll be able to pick this up without too much difficulty and go ahead and move on from there. 10,000. We'll push to it. Sorry, I'm trying to read chat right now. It's auction's the best time for that, and we'll just see how it goes. 14,000? Can we make it to 14,000? Clark really wants this for some reason. I'm not sure why, since he already had this geotherm way out here, but I guess we'll let it go for 16. Well, I don't know. It saves us a claim pretty well. Like, it's almost, at this point, just, hey, you get a claim. So that's how I have to look at it, as you get a claim. And then it's a lot better if I look at it from that perspective in particular. I think we're just going to toss down some reactors. Reactors are pretty strong. Other people, well, actually, we're going to try glass. We saw a lot of silicon coming in. Other people were already quite heavily into the reactors. Like this guy's in food. I think these are probably reactors. Yep. So we're just going to try and make glass work, especially because having put down so much food, this guy drove up glass prices pretty hard. So we'll see if this can work. Obviously, we want this geotherm down immediately now. It's worth all kinds of power, very important. But glass furnaces, $50 a second. That's not going to compare to these reactors at 67. But they're way better than these glass furnaces. And hopefully they'll hold their value a little bit better, since there's significantly less people in glass than in reactors. But we'll just see how it goes. Unfortunately, the glass furnaces also kind of support the reactors in a way, in that they keep that oxygen price a bit higher. Dust storm, that's not going to hurt us too badly. Yep, we already defended that. We can hold the EMP if we want to. There is a nice potential target to hit right here to help out, but I'm not sure I need to do that, so I'm not going to bother just yet. One more claim is available. I'm not sure what to do with it. I'm tempted, in a way, just to grab this silicon here. That way I have the potential to mutiny silicon if it turns into an issue later. It does mean I'll be spending a lot of power to bring that silicon back, but with any luck, power will kind of fall off eventually. So I'll have some steel, keep all this rolling in. The iron's doing just fine. Yeah, let's upgrade.
Directives received and confirmed. Replicators online.
Carbon scrubbing is an option, but there's quite a bit of carbon nearby, so I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Prices aren't going near so crazy as usual, except for power, which is still a little nuts. Could take that geotherm, not so concerned about it. I'm almost tempted just to throw down a water pump, because these guys are consuming large amounts of water, and they don't have a whole lot of water coming in. So we can maybe throw down this water pump, and then maybe as well, let's see, throw down, oh yeah, we'll throw down a little aluminum in response to this shortage. We've got 2 claims left. Could just grab up carbon with these. Definite option, as I plan to move into electronics later. But I'm thinking 1 carbon and 1 engineering lab, which will drop right there. See if we can make that work. I'm just kind of trying stuff out this game. Not sure how it's going to go. Especially because we founded robotic in our corner, right? But we'll try and make it work. Man, that geotherm's just getting passed around, isn't it? Ridiculous. Tell you what. There you go.
12.
Enjoy, guys. Enjoy for the aluminum shortage and power being so ridiculously expensive. I could have gone higher on that. Probably should have. Oh well. We'll need to be ready to transfer out of these glass furnaces, but we'll probably be able to just move fairly cleanly into... Yeah, we just basically ignored the shortage. Into chems, something like that. So hopefully it'll be alright. But as we can see, silicon's getting pricey, especially with people throwing down solar panels, things of that nature. So it's just the kind of thing we'll have to keep an eye on and make a judgment call on when to switch in and out of it. Could even move into power, quite frankly. Unfortunately, solar panels already extremely expensive, so that's why I've been trying to avoid making that move. Yeah, let's see. We'll sell down some steel, sell down some iron. Hopefully that'll all be okay. Sell down some water. Let's upgrade. Let's start by upgrading chem production. I don't see anybody else consuming chems yet, but we're going to be consuming a lot of chems. So hopefully it works out all right. All right, it's definitely time to stop these glass furnaces. We can go ahead and upgrade if we want to, but I'm not going to do that right away. I need to figure out what to turn these into first. I'm feeling chem labs. I think that'll be okay. Just put down some chems. Okay, plenty left over to upgrade still.
Full
We'll go ahead and do it.
upgrade complete.
Take some carbon. Could take a little extra water, but I don't really want to do that this game either. Could upgrade our power production. Probably going to be necessary long term. Could keep upgrading our chem production for a while, and maybe even throw down some electronics factories just on in here. Try and make this work. Electronics are doing reasonably well. Steel is doing fantastic. Speaking of that, let's just do one of these, see where we're at. Go ahead and defend our steel production, which is so valuable right now. Yeah, the chems aren't doing bad, partially because we're upgrading them, but that's okay. Could have upgraded steel. Kind of forgot how much steel Bradbury would be consuming because he is literally making none. Which is a bit of an important detail. Oh wow, we are running out of power. Well, could throw down extra power. We'd have to scrap something to make that happen though. I'm not sure any of that would be the best idea. I was hoping power would come down at some point, but it just hasn't. These guys have been hitting each other so hard in power, it hasn't been an issue. Clark's 60% of the way to buying us, which means he's sitting on about $100,000 right now. We're only sitting on about $70,000. Hasn't been the greatest game for us in a lot of ways, but we're thinking a bit more long-term right now, trying to make the long-term play work. We're also in about $100,000 of debt. So these are all just things to consider when we look at the exact position we're in against Clark. We can even start making a play like buying up our own stock, and hopefully that'll be all right.
14.
Yeah, hopefully these players just fight each other over this, and it doesn't turn into a major issue for us. Okay, engineering lab's going to keep going. That's just fine. We can sell down some aluminum. Start buying up our own stock to be safe. Kind of the same thing with steel. I don't know if we want to transfer out of steel. Bradbury still has an upgrade left that he's going to want to get to eventually.
The black market is online.
There, a little bit of our own stock purchased up. That'll help keep us secure through whatever nonsense goes on. And we have another black market. Let's go ahead and take a claim. Those are still 10,000. I'm really tempted just to dump this into electronics production down here. See if I can make that work long term as well. Another engineering lab also sounds kind of nice. Let's go ahead and buy into Bradbury since everybody else is. We may as well join that party. I'm going to have to watch my debt and start paying that off before too long unless I get a buy on someone very soon. It's the kind of thing to definitely watch out for. Now, Asimov is definitely a potential target. He's not sitting on a lot of funds. His stock price isn't all that high. Scavenger just expanded. That drove aluminum up pretty significantly, so we can go ahead and sell some of that. The electronics should be doing okay. They're not great because carbon's gotten a little more crazy than I thought it would. To the point of, maybe I should have pushed for carbon scrubbing this game and gone even more ridiculous, but I didn't. And let's see, people blowing up each other's power. Yep. Shouldn't be any big surprise. This engineering lab, I wish I could make it work faster. I wish I had like a black market effect I could just drop on the building to be like, hey, make me money better, go. Doesn't happen, doesn't work that way though. How are chems actually doing? Plus 27. We can keep upgrading them, but it might not be the best use of our time. We can upgrade some electronics instead, I think. Let's go for a goon squad. Grab some of that. Asimov is so tempting to try and hunt down. Okay, carbon shortage. That hurts quite a bit, a natural carbon short. That really is quite painful. Hopefully carbon will come down after that, but this is just a large chunk of money handed over to Clark in particular. He has an Offworld down as well, which is something to watch out for. We can leave him on for now. Come on down in price. Now, if we can get this blown up, this carbon shortage turns into a problem for him. But right now, it's just straight up a problem for us because it's destroying all of our carbon-based production. Like chems, they're awful at this point. They're losing us massive amounts of money, despite the fact that we've tried to upgrade them so heavily. Geotherm, I mean, we could take it for a little higher than that. Doesn't have to go too much higher, but it can go a little higher than that. Gotta watch out for Clark just kind of killing us if we go after someone like Asimov. Alright, there we go. Drove up that steel price quite nicely. We can sell that down. That's a big chunk of money in our favor. How much are we actually sitting on? About 110,000. That's not bad. I really wish carbon would come back down, though. And we need to start throwing black market at Clark, like, all the time. Mutinies everywhere.
The black market is online.
Alright, let's start here. Whoa, that actually worked. Wow, okay. With carbon costing $200, like, even though he has thinking machines, that's pretty ridiculous to fix. So, that's a pretty big win, quite frankly. Definitely a nice boost our direction. And I'm going to start on this. I got to be careful doing this again. But I can go ahead and start on it. Just keep an eye on Clark and what he's up to. Alright, Asimov's going to buy into himself. That's okay. I'm not sure we actually want to finish this buy anyways, quite frankly. Now, our electronics are frozen. That's not actually too bad. They make us a fair amount of money, but this carbon's more where it's been at for a while. Can we turn the chems back on? Not quite yet. Okay. Let's see. Let's go ahead and upgrade electronics again. How much would it cost to buy out Asimov? 98,000. We're almost there. Come on, get rid of this engineering lab, please. There we go. Steel's obviously losing us money at this point. We're going to need to switch out of that and find something else to be in.
The black market
glass is alright again. An Offworld before long would probably not be the worst idea, although I already went for this buy. I should really finish it before I think about something like that. We could also throw down maybe a patent lab to avoid this ridiculous carbon price. Something like right there. Scrap out of this. We can make glass short-term and figure everything else out kind of long-term. Also, what did we just acquire? We acquired a lot of carbon close to us, but not actually on us. Let's go ahead and nuke that out, because nukes are fairly cheap. This is mutinied away from us right now, which is a big problem because carbon's quite expensive. I could have tried blowing this up again. This is almost certainly... Well, this could be cute. I don't really know, guys. I don't know who's doing what. Everybody's a little crazy this game. I like it. Makes it a little awkward trying to figure stuff out. Now, Bradbury's going after me, which is interesting. He doesn't have anywhere near enough to buy me, as far as I know. But I do need to go ahead and defend myself from these two, which is what I was talking about. That's always the downside of buying somebody. You leave yourself quite vulnerable most of the time. Start on that carbon scrubbing. Okay, well, my patent lab's frozen for a while, unfortunately.
7,000.
We could even just cancel carbon scrubbing in response to that. The chem labs can turn back on, finally. 9,000.
10,000.
Yep. Going through the motions on this claim. Not too big a deal.
14.
Maybe I should have just left these as steel, knowing I would eventually want to get to an Offworld. They're doing alright for now, but maybe they could have done a bit better later. Do we pay the 20?
20,000.
I think we'll pay the 20. He can go for the 24 if he wants to. Yeah, it leaves us with a lot of debt, but you know what? Our stock price is still really, really strong. We have a potential strong buyout on Bradbury before too long. So I'm not too worried about it at the end of the day. Okay, glass is doing okay. Electronics are really where our production's at right now, right? These electronics factories are what are killing it for us. As long as we can keep that up, and we're upgrading them even more right now. Won't take too long. We're about, 70% done with that.
The black market
As long as that keeps
is
going,
online.
hopefully we'll be alright this game. We just gotta keep it going is all. And I'll keep blowing those up as long as you keep planting them.
We caught a dirty rat trying to break our stuff.
Ah, that hurts us so bad if we do that. Okay, I need to take care of his old territory. Let's go ahead and EMP these. They're not doing near so well as ours, because ours are frankly just way, way better because they're upgraded so much more. But it's still something to keep an eye on. Okay, these farms are losing massive amounts of money. Let's get those cleaned up. We have silicon coming in from way over here. We gotta watch power. Power might just kill us if we're not careful. So let's just fix that whole problem by very aggressively moving into a large number of solar panels. There we are. And I gotta really take a nice look at that off-world transition. I could even scrap this guy out and just go into an off-world. Let's see, how much would it cost to buy out Bradbury? 154,000. That's very, very tempting. But I think we need the off-world first. Alright, power's online. That'll pay off our debt fairly effectively. Bradbury is selling out of himself, which is odd, to say the least. And not good for us. That's not the kind of thing we were wanting to see this game. Okay, I got the last little bit. 82,000 to finish off Bradbury. Apparently he's just committing suicide. Which, I mean, he can. He has every right to if he wants, but I don't really know why he's taking this particular approach. I guess he is just trying to push as hard as he can to buy Clark. Is kind of the effort he's making, but it's still very, very strange to me. Let's see, we can upgrade steel production because steel's doing quite nicely. And let's make sure we keep hitting these off-worlds. See no reason to stop. He has thinking machines, but it's still effective to hit them with dynamite at this point. 96,000 is what we need to finish this off. Unfortunately, most of what we're making is going to be in steel right now, and we don't have a whole lot of steel production down. We have successfully cratered power. So let's go ahead and move out of that. Slant drilling would be kind of nice, I suppose.
8,000.
We have a ridiculous amount of silicon coming in.
10.
Alright, the off-world's online. I know fuel was decent, so we'll go ahead and send that. 10,000 I think is alright. Yeah, 12,000. How high do I want to push this is a pretty important question, actually. I have so much water. This is just insane. I don't know what to do with all this water. I could try moving it into something else, like reactors, maybe. He's already got some reactors down, but they're still better than my water. I mean, steel would be nice too, right? I mean, and this costs steel to make happen. It's just the concern about it, but... How do I have to defend myself before going for the buy? I think I do. I should really have more steel production down. I guess I've got a fair amount, and he keeps hitting my electronics, which is okay, because that's not where it's at right now, right? It's the steel is where it's at. But unfortunately, I did put down, you know, use a lot of steel putting down reactors. Just a thought.
Your stock's getting sold.
Oh, that sucks. I did not want my stock to get sold at all. Come on, I'm just having problems making money right now. Sheesh. I was hoping we'd be able to knock these off-worlds down fast enough that this wouldn't be a problem, but I was apparently quite wrong about that. Okay. Gotta keep pushing. How's this doing over here? How much of it is actually making decent money? Like, food's not great. Reactors aren't great. This power's kind of okay. Power's just bouncing around all over the place, depending on basically whether or not I'm in it heavily. I was hoping that wouldn't quite be the case. Go ahead and launch again. Buy that last little bit of my own stock. Let's see. The steel, iron got nuts. My iron's been frozen out for a long time, which helps explain that. So the steel's not doing so hot. It's just trying to find the right balance here between everything. Let's see. 98,000. Currently sitting on about 58. I think we will go for that buy. I think it's going to be worthwhile, but let's see. Let's just freeze that for a minute this time instead of blowing it up. And we can... The chems are still doing okay. Not for long, though. That carbon short. Man, that is another natural carbon short this game. Are you serious right now? Why in the world would there be another natural carbon short this game? That is nuts. Alright. 85,000. We're just going to tank prices everywhere. And hopefully this iron will help carry us through. This iron's doing quite nicely.
Off-world shipment launched.
Off-world shipment launched. Let's just keep making the fuel sends. We'll go ahead and get the buy done here. Hopefully that will help rebound our stock price a bit. Okay, that player was Cubit. Let's turn off these electronics factories. The farms are doing fine. The reactors are okay. We have access to a ridiculous amount of power now. So that's all good as well. And now I'm just really worried about this carbon. Obviously we have 5 carbon a second now, which isn't bad. But I'm still generally quite concerned, especially because I can't easily make an off-world transition to push to that 408,000 I'm going to need. And carbon's just doing Oh, man. Is he really just going to win the game off of carbon? Because that really frustrates me, quite frankly. I really hate this kind of stuff. But he's probably just going to win the game off an engineering lab plus carbon. Oh, well, carbon tanked, so at least we can turn all our stuff back on. He's still probably going to do it, though. We're nowhere close to taking him down. This is what I get for actually going for buying people out. Thankfully, there are some changes next patch that kind of encourage buying people, which is important in my opinion. Because right now, the game, honestly, I should have been making the play he was. I should have committed entirely to protecting myself instead of buying people, and that just pisses me off, and that's not a game I want to play. It's why I've been playing less and less and less and less and less, is because you have to get such a massive lead to actually push for the win that it ends up in a stalemate far too often right now. Like they were talking about at one point, the snowball effect being too strong of buying out a player, and I have to almost... Like, I understand that happens some games, but other games, you kind of just have to disagree. Like, it's really not all that good. Let's go ahead and take that back, finish our send, try and get another send.
Look at all the money.
I mean, we can try and push for another Offworld, but man, that's a huge commitment, and it's going to take at least 2 minutes to pay off if we do it. I didn't realize I had a carbon tile there. Shoot. Oh well. Should have gotten carbon scrubbing faster this game, I guess, but that's my fault. Could have gone for teleportation. This could have turned into something else a long time ago. Oh well. Let's see. Let's go ahead and pay down debt. Since we're nowhere close to finishing him off, we may as well pay down debt to kind of help out a bit. The electronics are doing just fine right now. They are fully upgraded at this point, so that shouldn't be any real surprise. We're making a lot of stuff, and generally it's pretty valuable, but I don't know if it's going to be fast enough to actually win us the game this time, to be honest. Alright, keep paying down debt. Keep paying down debt. How's the steel doing? Barely making money. That's unfortunate. The glass is fine.
The black market is online.
Can keep trying to attack him in a variety of ways with the black market, but unfortunately he has a lot more access to it. And frankly, it's gotten a bit expensive, so I don't know exactly how viable that is. The primary thing to do is just keep tossing dynamite at him until it's worked, but okay. Ah, man. I was hoping our iron wouldn't keep getting frozen, but this is what I get for playing robotic, quite frankly. Is this idea that
Offworld shipment launched. Look at all the money.
you have to put your buildings close together, so you're extremely vulnerable to the black market. So it's actually extremely difficult to beat a scavenger in these positions. He's gone and mutinied our Offworld again. There's not really a good counterplay to that right now, unfortunately. We just kind of have to sit here and watch it happen. Thankfully, food's doing well at this point. Let's see, 458,000 is what we have to push to. We're at 150. We're starting to catch back up. We're starting to catch back up. The iron is honestly what's doing it for us right now. We could upgrade iron production again. Chems aren't that expensive. It's just 7,000 to do this. Might be worthwhile. Water's doing nicely. Does this guy have water? Yeah, he has water coming in, so I'm not going to worry about trying to keep the water price too high. Any nonsense like that to make all this work. I'm just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and trying to make it to the win. Unfortunately, our Offworlds are offline again. I can't pay 110,000 for a mutiny. That's just crazy. But we can do one last dynamite. Hopefully that'll help out. Silicon's doing all right. So we can sell it down. He transferred out of glass. He's moving into chems, which is fine. We can kind of do the same, potentially, instead of this steel here. Because, yeah, steel's real nice, but unfortunately, iron's super expensive, and that kind of reduces the value of steel quite heavily. Let's see. We're making it, slowly but surely. Hopefully, we'll go ahead and catch up. Yep. It's that scavenger. It's hard to take down. Hard to take down the scavenger. Okay. Can't really transfer around stuff too easily because steel is just so darn expensive. So we can't really change these electronics factories, even though they're not actually all that valuable these days. So we're just mostly going to be sitting here and waiting until the end of the game. Now, water is doing incredible for whatever reason. And that's kind of nice because it's reducing the value of his reactors fairly heavily, things of that nature. And let's see. What are we going to need to push to? 485,000. I think if he hadn't gone for quite so much black market, by the way, he'd have won this one. He didn't need to shut us down in the ways he did. More specifically, we were talking about what was good and the fact that he wasn't hitting it. So I also want to point that out because I was doing a lot of whining earlier, and now I'm pretty much in position to just win the game. But I think there were some pretty serious misplays on his part that led to that. Alright. Reasonable first game of the day. Hang on. I have a little note from my wife here who was out the door during all that. Oh, good. A to-do list. Wonderful. I really hope she pulled my food out of the oven. I'm going to go check on that before too long. And yeah, we got it done. I know, Game Slayer. You and Cubit really went after each other. Like Game Slayer, you found it, and then Cubit is just like, man, all that carbon looks tasty. All that carbon looks wonderful, and yeah, that wasn't a good thing for you, Game Slayer. Anyway, we can take a glance at resources that game. We can see I made about 1.3 million. Most of that was my own stuff. Taking over the scientific player was helpful. Taking over Game Slayer was helpful. But a lot of that, we're talking about like a ridiculous amount in electronics, a ridiculous amount in glass, and a lot in steel and iron. So a lot of that was still just my little territory having been set up that game, which is kind of nice. Acquiring a little bit of extra carbon was kind of important. Chems did a good job for us. It was never too much at any given time, but they still got the job done eventually, which we kind of knew they'd be okay since we were consuming chems ourselves. And we got 4 Offworld launches off for a fair amount of money. Now, Cubit, he got off 17 Offworld launches. This is basically where all his money came from. But I'm really wondering how much he spent on the black market. Yeah, 341,000 spent on the black market. That is a lot of cash, right? That is a lot of money to spend on the black market. And then he only bought 1 goon squad for 6,000, which is really odd to me. If he was going to go for Offworlds, I know he had thinking machines, right? But even with thinking machines, usually you want to start buying up those goon squads to protect yourself eventually. If you're going to be playing, especially as a scavenger, where you kind of have that extra black market purchase each minute if you want to do it. So I think some goon squads could have gone a long way for Cubit that game because he kept playing out like the super long game instead of making a push, right? He just sat between 60 and 70,000 the whole time. Now, we raised that bar significantly by paying off $250,000 in debt, right? But despite that, once that was over, he still just sat at that 60 to 70. He never made a true push to finish the game that he needed to. I know they got to 20k real fast, Q, but I'm talking about like super late game. I drove him up there, quite frankly. And frankly, Bradbury did not help Cubit out. Like Bradbury's play at the end, Bradbury made a really aggressive play in order to try and stay in the game. Bradbury made a really aggressive play to try and stay in the game. And Cubit is the one who got punished for it, realistically, for the most part, which is unfortunate for him. All right, let's host a new game. I'm going to go check on my food real quick. We'll do a 6-man.